And so we've laid a good foundation for the importance of having a plan. And now we're going to talk about 6 of the common components to a comprehensive retirement plan. And again, there may be other components, right? If you're heavy into real estate, right? If you have some business interests and things like that. But most commonly, number 1, right, is a retirement income plan. Most people don't want to have to worry about running out of money. They want money coming in for the rest of their life. How many of you, that sound good? Right? So again, the challenge, there's a lot of challenges, but maybe your parents or your friends, or hopefully you, right? We're in the old way, right? You worked for a company for 30, 40 years, I'm not 40, but 25, 30 years, right? And when you stopped working, then you had a pension, and they would continue to pay you for the rest of your life, right? And then Social Security kicked in and added a little bit more, and then you had your own savings on top of that, right? But the challenge is that companies realize, wow, those pensions are very expensive, right, to support. Wow, we're not earning the return that we had projected. Wow, people are living a lot longer, right? So they shifted the responsibility to the individual, the new way. And they said, hey, we have a 401k. You can contribute whatever you want. 0, right? Or 403b or 457, right? Whatever, right? And in many times they'll incentivize you with the match. But it's still the main responsibility to assess all these risks, to plan for all these risks, to navigate all this is on the individual, right? And as that nest egg gets bigger, the impact of making great decisions or terrible decisions is just magnified, right? And so, old way, new way, be aware, especially if the new way is important is impacting is the system that you're in, right? Also, I find that people sometimes struggle as just mentally, right, with the idea of, well, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years, it worked out great, so I don't understand why I need to make a change or I should change, right? And so conceptually, right, so if you had like a really great, really heavy stock portfolio, right, the last 20 years, it's done relatively well, with a couple bumps in the road, right? But if you held in there, you hanged in there, you did pretty good, right? And if you're in the accumulation years, in most cases, that's what you should be doing, right? But as you are transitioning into retirement or in retirement, preservation years, distribution years, the strategies for accumulation are completely different than preservation and distribution. Preservation and distribution, there's some differences, but they're more closely aligned, right? And that's where I see a lot of people in that 55 to 70 age range just really mentally struggle and challenge, right? And it really depends on, but if you're doing it yourself or if you have a broker, someone you've been working with for a long time, a lot of companies in our industry just focus on accumulation, right? And they're always trying to get you to take risk, keep it in the market, hang in there over time. Anyone ever heard those things? Right? And that works out most of the time until it doesn't. Right? So it's not bad advice, but is that good advice for you in your situation and how your life has changed or not, right? So this is a great resource that a lot of people find helpful to kind of understand that and go, you know what? Yeah, when in my working years, I was very heavy in stocks and stock funds, right? And there are other things that aren't on here, right? So real estate is a very commonly held, asset class. Right? But that's definitely would be in that top triangle as far as risk, but it's a unique asset class, right? Because of the liquidity features, and it can also create some income. But quite often, especially as people are transitioning from the accumulation years to the preservation or distribution years, what they need to be doing is looking at de-risking, going down the pyramid, going down the triangle. So having a lower percentage of things at the top and having a higher percentage in things at the bottom, right? And so one of the challenges is that if you want to do things on your own, you may have access to some of these things, but not all of these things, right? And if you're working with an advisor or a company, they may only have access to some of these things, not all these things. They may have personal biases, right? So really if you are working with a professional, you want to know what tools do they have access to or not, right? And so here's another visual example. And as much as possible, I try to give comparisons that people understand, because I understand that the financial world can be confusing, the terminology, right? But most people do understand, a hammer, a screwdriver, a wrench, right? Are those things good or bad? What do you think? Neither. It depends, right? If you need to hang a picture on the wall, right, you're going to want a hammer to bang that nail in, right? But if you have a leaky sink or toilet, the hammer is not the right tool for the job, right? Any golfers in the room? Got a few, right? We're in Vegas, a lot of great golfers. Well, putter, wedge, driver, they're different tools. Well, what do you need? I don't know. Are you on the tee or are you on the green? Right? Are you okay with the chance of going out of bounds? Driver might be the club, right? But if you want to lower that variance, lower that risk. And so how does that relate to the retirement world? Well, you see there's a handful of financial instruments here. So one of the things that people like yourself tend to be confused a lot about is annuities, right? Oh, I've heard that annuities are bad, or oh, you got to be careful, you don't want to buy an annuity, and they're just a different tool. But they can be one of the most important tools in a comprehensive retirement plan. So you need to focus on what you want. Don't care what it's called, care what it does. What do you want your money to do for you? And then understand, or just like I said, a driver, you might hit it 300 yards, you might go out of bounds. Are you okay with those outcomes, or do you really want to narrow that range of outcomes, right? So you definitely want to learn about annuities and determine if annuities are right for me. If so, what type of annuities? Am I using it for income? Am I using it for safe accumulation? Am I using it as a bond replacement? Here's a visual, right? A lot of people look at this. So the red is the stock market, S&P 500, 20 years, right? Goes up, goes down. You can do really well, you cannot do well, right? The green line here, that's an index insurance approach, right? When the red goes up, it goes up, but doesn't go up as much. When the red goes down, the green doesn't go down at all. A lot of people like that idea, right? Hey, I don't need to hit a home run all the time. I just don't want to have strikeouts all the time, or I don't want to go backwards, right? And so I have people look at this and go, hey, that green line looks really good. I think I want some of my money. What is that? Well, it's a fixed index annuity. Oh, I don't want an annuity. Why do you care what it's called? Right? Just care what it does for you, right? Hammer, screwdriver, wrench, right? Driver, wedge, putter. Hey, Adam Goodman here. Hope you enjoy the content. Got any questions? Feel free to reach out.